Hello. This is Antje from Byte Shuffle. Thank you for always watching our videos. This time, I've put together a guide on how to play against Cori tempo when using Doomsday, including strategy tips and sideboard considerations. There's also a link to the pile breakdown video in the description, so feel free to check it out. Here is the deck list we will be using this time. I included creatures with tempo matchups in mind. For creature selection, I included 3 copies of Burrogoyf for their strength against tempo decks, along with 1 copy of Sheoldred, the Apocalypse. Sheoldred is better than Burrogoyf in that it can take over the game on its own once it lands. But since it costs 4 mana, which is quite heavy, I'm only running a single copy. Murktide Regent is vulnerable to Pyroblast, but it's extremely powerful against UB tempo and can win the game on its own, so I've included it as a one-of to diversify threats. When trying to make the most of creatures, it's natural to want to pair them with Unearth. To better leverage Unearth, I removed Jace Wielder of Mysteries and opted for 2 copies of Thassa's Oracle instead. Unearth not only avoids interfering with the main combo, but it also serves as a countermeasure against Disruptor Flute. In tempo matchups, it can act as a pseudo-4th copy of Burrogoyf when one gets removed. Another reason for replacing Jace Wielder of Mysteries is the decline of Consigned to Memory in the current meta. I'll keep this hand since I can smooth it out with draw spells. I'm going to dig for land. I put Street Wraith, Brainstorm, then the fetch land on top and drew them. My opponent shuffled off a Ponder. I'm digging for Doomsday. I stacked the Surveil land first, then Street Wraith. I'm playing out Lotus Petal first to play around Daze. I'm going to search for Doomsday. The target of Mishra's Bauble is me. I'm going all in. From here, using discard to scout ahead. I took Daze. I'm going to increase my mana for the combo. I'll counter it with Daze. If I don't win this turn, I'll lose the game. I have a pile opener in hand and access to 2 black mana, so I'm going to make full use of Night's Whisper. Since I need 2 blue mana to cast Thassa's Oracle, I'm including Lion's Eye Diamond in the pile. I'm filling the rest of the pile with cyclers to finish the game in one go. I built the pile in the following order: Thassa's Oracle, Edge of Autumn, Lion's Eye Diamond, Night's Whisper. I'm using the pile opener to draw through the pile. In response to the pile opener, I'm activating Lion's Eye Diamond. I win the game with Thassa's Oracle. Before sideboarding, I'd like to review the list we used. First, the conclusion. I will explain it step by step. Here's the actual sideboard plan I used during the match. During the game, I sided in Mystical Dispute and took out Consider. However, Mystical Dispute has a narrow range of targets, and after resolving Doomsday, when you're low on life and out of lands, there are times when you really want to see Consider as you're drawing through the pile. So unless there's something else that clearly takes priority, I think it's better to leave Consider in the deck. Please make sure to use this version instead. Now, let's get into the main topic. First, to commit to the creature plan, I'm siding in Long Goodbye, Burrogoyf, Sheoldred the Apocalypse, and Murktide Regent. Here are the cards in Cori tempo that can impact Doomsday. Starting with Pyroblast. It can counter our Thassa's Oracle. To play around Pyroblast, it's often better to pair it with Cavern of Souls, depending on the situation. As for Cavern of Souls, it not only helps protect Thassa's Oracle, but also fits well with the creature-based plan we're going with this time. It allows us to resolve key threats like Sheoldred the Apocalypse and Burrogoyf, which are especially effective against the opponent, without worrying about counterspells. That's why Cavern of Souls is rated more highly in this matchup compared to when we're not running creatures. Next, let's go over the game plan our opponent is aiming for and the game plan we should be pursuing. The opponent aims to gain tempo by combining Wasteland with Daze, effectively using Daze as a pseudo-force of will. If the opponent is effectively running 8 copies of Force of Will type effects, breaking through becomes much harder, so it's crucial not to fall into their mana denial strategy. Specifically, we can play around it by utilizing basic lands, and by taking advantage of mana acceleration tools like Lotus Petal and Dark Ritual. By doing this, we can disrupt the opponent's ability to use Daze as a pseudo-force of will. So far, we've reviewed both the opponent's game plan and the game plan we should be aiming for. Next, let's take a look at the various counterspells: Force of Will, Daze, Force of Negation, and Consign to Memory, and Pyroblast. To combat these, we bring in Duress, Blue Elemental Blast, and Flusterstorm. In exchange, all copies of Personal Tutor are taken out. This is because the creatures we're siding in are more impactful in this matchup. Additionally, we take out Daze. This is because the counterspells we've added from the sideboard are more effective in this matchup. After that, we take out Cabal Ritual. This is because it's the weakest of the mana acceleration options in this matchup. We also remove cards that cost us life. Next, regarding counterbalance, as long as we can resolve Doomsday, we can break through it by leveraging uncounterable cards like Cavern of Souls and Edge of Autumn. Next, regarding Null Rod, it shuts down Lotus Petal and Lion's Eye Diamond, so it's important to keep that in mind when building your pile. Lastly, Surgical Extraction, while not always present, does show up from time to time. I won't go into examples here, but if you want to learn how to play around it, check out the pile breakdown video where I cover specific cases. It's a bit weak, but I have enough lands, and with Cavern of Souls and Murktide Regent, I can deploy threats without worrying about counters. Plus, I have Blue Elemental Blast for protection, so I'm going to keep. While buying time, I'll either set up the Doomsday combo or dig for Barrowgoyf with a Surveil land to build a board and win from there. The Surveil effect leaves the card on top of the library. The Surveil effect puts the card into the graveyard. The Surveil effect puts both cards into the graveyard. From here, I'm going to start making my move. I'm casting Barrowgoyf off Cavern of Souls. The Surveil effect put one card into the graveyard, and left the other on top of the library. The Surveil effect put both cards into the graveyard. The Surveil effect sent both cards to the graveyard. While developing Barrowgoyf, I used Blue Elemental Blast to remove Cori-Steel Cutter. Lastly, I have an announcement. I'm posting the concepts behind the images used in my videos, as well as small flavor-inspired stories, in the YouTube community section. Additionally, I'm selling merch for the channel through the link in the description. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. Thank you for watching up to this point. I apologize for the many play mistakes. I hope to improve at MTG together with everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. See you next time. This is Antya.